Hey everyone, and welcome back. I've had a couple of requests to get the old Rover going. So we're going to dig it out today, do a start on it, and see if we can't go for a little drive. This thing does run, drive, and stop. I haven't driven it for a couple of years. I have had it for, I was trying to remember, it's been at least 15 years. Probably 17, 16, something like that. It is a 1961 Series 2A Land Rover, and it has had the buckets changed out right here at the fender, right where the seam is. Has been changed out for a later 70s, early 70s, 73, 74 style of headlight. They used to be in on the grill, or in on the breakfast as they say, and the grill was a little bit different shape. This is also a later model grill, and I just popped the hood open. I'm going to check the battery, and we've got some people that have moved in up here, and I'm going to evict them because I don't want to get stung. So I'm going to take care of them, and then we're going to check the battery. I'm assuming it is dead. It's been sitting for some time, a couple of years at least. Air the tires up, and we'll see what we can do. So let me get rid of these guys. Think I can do it without getting stung? The wasp around the Midwest this time of year are just kind of nuts. Yeah, we might have them out of here good enough where we can actually kind of work in here. This is a relatively, or was a relatively new battery. My guess is it's completely dead though. We'll find out. Yeah. We're dead. So I'm going to go throw a charger on that. This truck takes a ton of cranking power to crank it over. This has an inline six in it from like a Chevy Nova or something. It's not a stock engine. Truck had been converted over before I even got it. But it runs like a top. Runs really well. So let me go put a charger on that sucker. And we'll come back out, clean it out, because it needs a good clean out. It's been a storage barn. Temporary storage for a little while. We'll clean it out and we'll check everything in here. Check the oil before we turn it over. And see what we can do. Apparently that charger has to be where the battery's at, like 3 or 4 volts or something, because it's not taking a charge. So I've thrown the Toyota on the battery just to give it a little jolt to get it into the positive zone, I guess. But I thought I'd go ahead and jump over here and check the clutch reservoir. That's empty. So we're probably gonna have to bleed the clutch before we do anything else as far as getting it to run and drive. And the wasper, I'm gonna end up getting stung here today probably. I'm not their favorite person right now. They might be mad, but they might as well just get glad, because it's the way it's gonna be. See that kind of woven looking stuff right back in there? I think that's a nest. And unfortunately these buckets are boxed in on the back side. So they get that box in on the back side. I'm betting you there's a nest back in there. Probably more nests than I care to know about. You little buggers. So we may have to wasp spray. Whoa! Buzz in my head. We have to wasp spray behind there. It's an all aluminum truck on a galvanized frame except for the bulkhead. You can see it's rotted out right here, right there, and then there are a couple places up inside along the bulkhead, and the door tops are not aluminum. They're steel. So I cut this piece out and had to kind of retrofit some stuff in there to make it work. But we need to weld a piece in here. Probably need to cut this back a little bit further and fix some stuff on it. But for the most part, it's in pretty good shape. It's been sanded down to the bare metal since I've owned it. I did that. It was painted camo. If I can find the pictures of it when I bought it, I'll put them in right here and you can take a look at it. But they're really cool old trucks. Very simplistic. If you have ever seen or been inside of a Volkswagen Thing, they are very similar. I had a Thing for a couple years. About 10 years, actually. I've taken the door off because we'll probably be in and out of it a few times. It just sits down, and kind of like a Jeep, just sits down in the pegs. Or if you've ever had a Volkswagen thing, very similar to how the door works on this. So we'll drop that hood down so we can get some light in here, a little bit more light. We'll clean up. I don't want to be sitting on mouse poop, so we'll clean some of that up. That way we'll be able to jump in and out and start it. We do need to check some things on it. I want to check the oil in the Fairy overdrive. So that requires me to take this middle seat out. Under the seat there's a panel. There's an access panel in there. I didn't talk about that yet, but this truck has, you get your main shifter, your high and low gear four-wheel drives, and then this shifter here is a Fairy overdrive. What an overdrive does is reduces the number of times your input shaft on your transfer box or your gearbox has to turn to get one turn out of your output shaft. So, for example, first gear, it has to turn about 3.5 or 4 turns to get one turn on the output shaft. When you put an overdrive gear on there, the input shaft only has to turn about 0.8 times to get one turn on the output shaft. So this truck basically has multiple gears. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on your regular shifting, 1, 2, 3, 4 with the Fairy engaged. So you've got 8 gears there, and then you've got the same combination for high and low four-wheel drive with the Fairy engaged. So you've got quite a few choices if you're going to be out and about in it. And if you can drive this, you can pretty much drive anything. There was a suicide knob on there, and it ain't because we have power steering. Ironically enough, I use this little magnetic Gorilla Pod, but it doesn't work too well on an aluminum car. So I think we can probably stick it right here, maybe. I don't know if you can see the cobwebs or not, but been a while. So we'll get rid of those. The overdrive is right here. This system right here that bolts directly back in on the back side of the transmission. And what that has allowed us to do, there is a castled, essentially like a big castled nut. And we had to build took a socket and welded some splines to it so that we could get it loose. And then you just take out that back gear, that rear gear, shove the overdrive in, and then you have this overdrive gear system. Pretty cool little system. You are magnetically attached to the seat frame, which is not aluminum. And we're going to try and get that. Wasn't too bad, wasn't too tight. Out of there. Let me get a rag. I can pull that out of there where you can see it too. I'm blocking your light, aren't I? And let me try going from over here, maybe. So there's just a little dipstick on it, and it is checking full. So I think we're gonna call it, can't see anything. I think we're gonna call that okay. That looks good. Fairy overdrives, I believe, began production for this type of rig in the 70s. I want to say it was like 73 or 75, something like that. Seems like it was an odd number here. Funny the way you remember things, but 70s, mid-70s. But they adapt and fit almost any Rover that's this style. So this is a 61, and it has a later style Fairy in it. These are pretty desirable and kind of hard to come by. I got lucky. I found one on eBay years and years ago. Alright, so that checks good. We can put this seat tray back in there. And normally these would be hinged. I have since ripped the hinges off of mine. So these trucks were definitely made to work when you're on the road. Each of the chairs has an access panel like that. That one's the gas tank over there, the passenger seat. And then the middle one is your gearboxes. And then this one, I just placed a old sink from a camper in there. It fit perfect, just as extra storage. This side doesn't have anything under it. All right, let me go get that passenger seat out. We'll kind of get all the, I've pulled the vinyl and the seats and everything out, and we'll just kind of hose them off. Just thought I'd show you how close this door is. Yeah. It misses, and that's the important thing. These doors have catches on them. So this goes in that little slit right there, then there's a pin that drops through it. I have them unhooked just so I can get them open all the way. I don't know if this seat back is unattached. I apologize for the shaky cam here. Yeah, that one's out. Pull that out all the way. So this panel is actually screwed down because it's just a gas tank under here. And the tank pretty much comes flush to the floor. So I was just putting some stuff away. I aired up the tires and was putting away that box of Volkswagen parts right there. And the Cyclops light was in there. How is it that two roof lines are nearly identical on two separate vehicles? I had to take the, I had a roof rack on it. I took the roof rack off. We could make it work on the Land Rover even. Looks kind of funny on there too, doesn't it? I don't know, I kind of like it on the Land Rover. It doesn't fit the roof line quite as well, but it's just really close. There's a little bit of a gap right in the middle, but if you took the point, it kind of tucks in at the point. If you took that and kind of modified it, it would fit the Land Rover. Almost perfect. What do you think? I don't know. Kind of like it on the Rover. I swapped everything out, so it looks a lot better in here. Not perfect, but we're gonna, if we can get it going, we're gonna drive it around and hose the whole thing off. So I got the seats kind of hosed off. I'll go get one so we can get it around to the other side. If she'll start. Big if. But I'm gonna go ahead and take this passenger side door off because we're really close on everything here. And I want to be able to hear if something goes crunch, crunch. I hear you. I don't see you, but I hear you. Building yourself a little home. You behind this panel here? This is gonna end badly, isn't it? Alright, I think I've got everything moved out of the way. The beam of the bus was leaning against the back of it. I've tipped it out of the way. I've removed, there was some sheet metal under here for storage. I've removed that. I've removed all the roof rack junk and everything on the other side. We are really close to that scooter when we come out. We just have to go slow if we can get this thing to move. And I have a little something making a nest in here. I can hear him boring around. So if I go running, you'll know why. Let's see if we have any clutch. That's going to be the first thing we need to get moving. Nope. Alright. I heard it go up here. Let me shut that. The hood is so light on this truck. I don't know what it weighs, but you can just take one hand and lift it at the most awkward of angles. Yeah, we definitely shot some bubbles up the clutch reservoir, and it went down. Probably because I splashed most of it out of there. So let me fill that back up, put the cap on it, and we'll see if we've got anything. So this little guy I'm working on in here works just like when you're bleeding brakes. And I like to never got that loose. But there's just a little bleed valve right there, and I've got it loose. And is it a bad sign when you can loosen it with your fingers and nothing's coming out? So in this truck, you can be the bleeder and pedal operator all in one. This pedal assembly needs some love. The whole thing's moving. It's attached to the bulkhead, which is kind of rotted out. So let me check our reservoir level. I've done it one time and didn't get a ton of air, so I'm hoping I'll get some air this time. I can show you, but I'm just pumping over here just like you would to bleed brakes. You hold it, and then I'm leaning down and backing off that bleeder valve and see if we can get some air out of here. It's a one-man or a one-woman job in this case. Well, something related to linkage in the pedal is seized up. I don't know if it's armature or what, but we're going to try and start it. I think I've got all the air out, so we should be good there. I've put the cap back on that reservoir. And let's try and start it in neutral. Make sure we don't start it in gear. And kind of see what happens. I'm assuming we're probably going to get a nice little flood of wasp and whatnot, but I'm going to take the hood off so that we can get some light and so that I can kind of see if anything up here is going awry. This thing tends to leak. I'm going to change that out. Go buy a different one of those. Probably should take that off of there too, make sure there's not a nest inside there. So let me get this hood off. We'll go ahead and take that breather off of there. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. Trying not to get stung. And we'll make sure there's not a nest in that. I don't want a nest down in the carburetor. See what we've got. Of all the vehicles we have, this one seems to be their favorite. And even when we were running it pretty regularly, they built in it constantly. Oh no, I guess there's just so many nooks and crannies on this one. There's an acorn. Somebody been in there. That all looks okay. Get them all? Now the electric probably won't work on that light. Oh yeah. Decided to give him a little tickle and pull the choke again. It does have a manual choke right there. Make sure we shut all the way. Yeah, it's pretty well down. Still buzzing around me, aren't you? Let's see if we can get a hit. Make sure we're not in gear. Sounds better. The ignition is out, so that's the kill switch if it does start. Y'all remember that, okay? Let me tickle a little bit more fuel down there. Whoop. Can't do that with one hand. Sorry about that. We took a ride. Well, it's gonna start. Try again. Sorry about the crash. Oh, we're puking gas. That's why I hate those filters. Forgot to change that out. Let me see if I can come up with a filter for that. Fire it over. Yeah, that wasn't our only gas problem. This is the line that was coming off the tank. This is probably why our fuel pump wasn't filling up and putting it in there as quick as I thought it should, because it's pouring most of it out on the ground. So I gotta go. I don't have any of this size hose, so I gotta go get some of that, and we'll just buy a new filter while we're at, because I went ahead and rolled this one off and cracked it. See that? She's gonna fight me the whole way. So we'll go in and get these two pieces, and we'll bring you back and hopefully still get this thing going tonight. But I couldn't find anything in my stash, so I had to go into O'Reilly's and grab one there, and just got one of these jobbers. You know what doesn't break or shatter? Metal. And with me on the job, you definitely don't want glass. Nothing breakable. I'm like a bull in a china shop. So I got this kind. Hopefully we won't be replacing that again. Goofy thing. Those glass ones are just junk. I'm gonna have to go get a different screwdriver. That one's not thin enough. Up there on the left. Man, I guess looks like we have a leak down at the carburetor too. I've got another carb exactly like that one. We may have to trade it out for the other one, because it looks like it's puking out right down here. Always something. Can't have a job just go together easy. That'd be boring. And then we got new gas line. So I'll go underneath and put that on. We're leaking from a piece that goes to the fuel pump, which is on the other side here, down to the tank. Let me get that hooked up. Then we'll see what other problems we have. I don't know if I've got you in a better spot this time or not. As far as falling over goes. Let me put a little bit more juice in that carburetor. And we're going to give it another spin. See if we can get it to turn on its own power. Move some of the stuff off the fender here so the engine doesn't eat it here in a few seconds. See what we get. Probably really leak now. Sounds good. Shut the choke off. Fast. There it comes. There we go. Out of gas. Wonder if our filter's full. That's the advantage of the glass, but glass breaks. Let's fire it up again. I'll set you here and then I'll handhold you. See if we can start it without the choke this time. Yeah, we're puking out. Whoa. puking out the bottom of the carb. Right where that linkage is on the bottom. Lucky me, I have another one just like it. No? Stuck in that, man. I gotta get a guard on that. Especially now with the 5-year-old around. Choke out just a hair. It's not one to idle. Ah, we lost it. That didn't sound too bad. She's alive. It always did sound good. Doesn't seem to be leaking as bad now. It's self-healed. I doubt it. Not the way our luck goes. Well, we've run it a little bit. Just a little bit high. Pretty much all the way back. That carb needs some work. Keep your hands back here. Don't want to lose any fingers. See any leaks? Death trap right there. Good. Well, should we see if the charge system's working on it? Let's pull the jumper cables off. so far it's stayed running. We're gonna let it sit here for a little bit and run. See if we overheat. Running good right now. Ah, the smell. It's kind of like a Volkswagen. It never gets old. So there's a rod on the bottom side. Right down there. That should be moving up and down when I push on this pedal. And it doesn't look to me like it's budging. So what do you say we take these two bolts out, take the line off, and take this out and free it from down below and see if we can't get that freed up. If not, we're gonna have to buy a new one of those. Well, it's well into the night. It's going on probably close to 10 o'clock. I finally got that out of there. Those are getting never seized when they go back in. I'm just saying. It's really hard to get those out. It's a nut and bolt. So on the bottom, there is a nut you can't hold on to, and on top, you can't be in two places at once. So, yeah. We'll put never seize on that when that goes back in. So I gotta take this line off the top. I definitely think this is probably our issue here. It's pretty rusty up in there. So that is not allowing that to slide back and forth. So we'll go in, take that off, go in and take a look at it, and then we'll hopefully be able to get another one of those if we can't fix that one. I definitely think that's our issue. I'm gonna get under there right now and make sure that everything moves. And if it does, we know that's our problem. So we're underneath now. Can you see? Let me turn on a light for you. I don't know if that's any better or worse, but this linkage here is the rod. I don't know why we're not focusing. Figure out where I'm pointing to. Come on. Come on. There you go. So that rod that's running up is what went into that slave cylinder for the clutch. And we just need to make sure all of this stuff will move. So if this all moves, we know that that piece up there is the one that's seized. So let's just see what we've got here. I'm trying to move it without getting in the way here. Can I come through on this other side? Here, I'll come through over here. Camera. So that's all moving. I mean, it's not totally free. Well, that's definitely our problem up above, which is probably where I would have guessed, because I have replaced this before for that same issue. So I think part of the issue is there's supposed to be a little rubber boot on the bottom of this. Works just like a brake master cylinder. So right kind of where that groove is there, there's a rubber boot that normally slides up on there, and it has a hole in the middle for the shaft to run up, and we are missing that for starters. I don't know that that's the issue, but that definitely allowed more moisture to get in. You booger. Gotcha. Sucker. Yeah. That looks pretty bad in there. I think that's our issue. Let's go see what we can do with that. Probably nothing. Frogs and free all. Doesn't get much better than that. That free all smell at night. Got a special delivery today from Rover's North up in Vermont. These guys are awesome. I've ordered lots of Rover parts from them over the years, and they have a pretty good selection of what's available for these old things. And that one has the little rubber boot on the end. I don't know what happened to the one that should have been on the one that was in the truck, but let's see if that makes a difference. I did soak the other one. We can go check it too. Put that back in there. Let's go check the other one. I'm telling you, I think the neighbors just wait for me to come outside and then they hit the mower. It's quite comical. So that's had Freol sitting in it. That gunk that's on top is, I guess, just the rust. But it's leaked past, which tells me the seal is probably no good. Or the wall is so pitted. Let's see if we can get in there and see any of that. Yeah, it looks pretty rough. We're going to keep it in the parts bin just to save it in case we should ever need pieces off of it. But I'd say we're going to take the easy way out and just replace it. So this was less than 40 bucks. I don't remember exactly what it was. $35 or something like that. So very reasonably priced. Certainly worth replacing. So that looks a little better inside. Alright, so we've got that all back in there, and I ran the bolt this way and put a lock washer on the bottom side, so it would be easier if we have to take it in and out again to tighten it and loosen it. I've got fluid in over here, and unfortunately you probably can't see that, but I'm going to let the bleeder valve off and just let that kind of roll down a little bit. See if that goes down any. Yeah, so we're pretty well equal. There, it finally went down. We're pretty well equalized though, as you can see it now on the bleeder side. So I'm going to go ahead and just top it off a little bit. We are all the way through on both sides, so we are. That's coming back up now, so I don't even need to top it off. I'm gonna try and set you there for that one. Pump it up again. I just topped it off outside in the reservoir. I don't know if you probably can't see it, but the shaft to the clutch is now moving. So I think we're getting pretty close to being there. You can still hear some air, but this will let me, we're definitely getting clutch pedal. This will let me have two hands down there. So I'm gonna try and be quiet and see if you can hear that. Definitely still have air. We've got good pedal though. It probably would shift just fine. Give it one more on this reservoir fuel and then we'll check it again. That reservoir is just not very big. Keep bumping you. Need to move you to a different spot. Definitely still got air. Alright. No sense in you watching that for the next 20 minutes or however long it takes, so I'll bring it back when we get it there. I think we're hurt a little bit right there, so I'm going to do maybe 2 more, 3 more, and we're going to call it good. We're getting mostly fluid out now. Not very much air at all. So that's good. It didn't take as long as it normally does. Shocker. Figured this thing would fight me the whole way.
Like it.
You like the bobblehead?
Yeah.
The Hawaiian girl? Her skirt's kind of falling apart.
Well, can you get another one for it? Mom, have you thought of a name for this Land Rover?
Raggedy Ann. Dalton?
Yeah!
Alright, Dalton and I are going to give her a wash.
Yep.
Alright?
Mm-hmm.
And put the doors back on. So don't spray me yet.
Okay.
We'll stick you inside.
Does the grill light up?
No, the grill doesn't light up.
I'm watching the gates on the headlight.
Okay.
Oh, the holes in the gates are getting bubbles stuck inside them. I need the bucket up on the roof.
Okay, how's it look up there, Dirty?
Still a little bit, but right here looks very clean.
Okay.
Well,
Whoa, careful.
how about you get that one side washed?
Oh, right there, you mean where it's muddy?
Nobody wants to see that one.
Nobody wants to see that? Okay, let me go get a sponge.
Nobody wants to see that when they open the tailgate.
No, those wasps have had a busy year. Go, keep wiping it off.
Need to move the windshield.
Just pull it out all the way. Pull it out till it clicks. There you go. Well, you can see out all the windows now, and that's a start. And I've been working on the wheels. My parents live on Indiana clay soil. And while off-roading years ago on their property, this permanent brown staining on the tires has never come off. So I took some steel wool to the back tire, and it worked pretty well. So I think I'm going to do that to all the tires just to get rid of that staining. It's just, tires are still in pretty good shape. I was kind of surprised. There's a little bit of cracking on a couple of them, but they're totally runnable. But it's just got this brown staining. I don't like that. It does make it look old though. It kind of matches the truck. Still kind of just touching up on some things, and I've painted the rim over here. Got a few spots I need to kind of touch up on, but the wheel still needs tire wet on it, but get ready to paint this front one. Sorry, Elvis, but you were the deck of cards I had handy. Elvis is gonna get spray painted. Sacrilege, I know. Thought I'd give you all a cockpit view and talk about a couple of the features that are in here. Got our air conditioners. Little vents, you just push the knob, probably see it better here, push the knob out of the little slots that are along, drops up or down. Let's see, it's a car from the 60s, so we got our ashtray, that's important. Let's see, sliding windows, just like a bus. And then there's a little locking tab here. So when you want to lock it, you push in and slide up. I probably can't do it one-handed. Yeah, I can. And then there's this little pin, focus, little pin inside there that keeps the window from sliding back open. It does have a drop-down windshield. There's the bolt for that. Let's see, that's about it. Huge pedals when you're comparing them to a Volkswagen. You got 4 shifters, I talked about that already. And to lock the door, it's probably easier to talk about this one. I can get to it easier. So you push in and turn, and that locks the door. I think it's a push in and turn. We'll go over and check it out in a minute. Seats are not from a 61. These are later model seats, and they need redone. Got a slider back here. It locks kind of similarly to the front ones. They both slide. Let's go take a peek outside. Before I forget, so you push in and turn. Then to unlock it, you just twist it. Well, here she is in all her glory. She looks pretty good if I do say so myself. I think Dalton and I did a pretty good job cleaning her up. I touched up the wheels just a little bit. It's just a satin finish. I don't go for gloss. Touched up the bumper and touched up the back as well. Yeah, that'll do. I got that top shipped here from Colorado. Been a lot of years ago. I can't remember when exactly I got that, but I had it shipped on a pallet to me, and I was real concerned about the windows, but it showed up not broke. So that's awesome. I made this little tonneau cover. The pins, or the way it works, is industrial strength Velcro, and then there's a flat, can't really see very well here, sorry about that. There's a flat piece of aluminum that goes through what is the little tarp tie downs for it. Gives it a real nice clean line, and I don't have to put in these screws or bolts into the truck. And then there's a cord sewn in here with Velcro underneath that as well. There's got a little rip there though, don't we? Fix that. And then I just did bungee up here. At one time I wanted Land Rover mud flaps, and I didn't have the money to buy the actual Land Rover ones, so I made a stencil and just spray painted them on some El Cheapo Pep Boys or whatever mud flaps. I love the curved glass. We need to hook up a single wheel trailer hitch system for it. Let's see, it has lockout spline hubs. You gotta pull the pin and then you rotate that around to lock it in. I'm missing a stud and a lug nut, so I've ordered that. The front lenses are busted, so we're gonna order those. Get a little better look at our air conditioning here. Kind of got a cool look to it. And you know it's my vehicle because it's got a busted windshield. The bulkhead is the only thing really on it that is solid steel. So you got right here, so the door jam's all rotted out. And some of the panels behind that attach to the bulkhead are also steel. Can't really get in there very well. Frame is super solid. This is a galvanized frame. Probably see back here a little better. Yeah, there we go. So aluminum does kind of dissimilar metals when they go together. Check out the condition of those outriggers though. Won't see that on any of my other projects, will you? But dissimilar metals sometimes will cause it to kind of rot. Got a little bit of kind of stuff poking through on the door here, and these are aluminum. But all in all, she's in pretty good shape. I love it. She's just begging to run, isn't she? The back has jump seats, and I have 3 tops for it. This top, a soft top, and then the mail truck top. I'll try to remember to put a picture here. And the mail truck top has a different door here. It's like a oval at the top, that are rounded at the top, and it opens like that. And here's the hinge for it. I need to drill these studs out. They got rotted in there. It has a PTO in the back, so you can run farm implements and things like that with it. I ran my tailpipe out where that should be. I didn't mention that. So that's where it would come out. But yeah, that's a PTO. What am I missing here? I don't think we're missing much of anything. Really, there's not much to it. That is what she is. With that, everyone, I would like to say a heartfelt thank you to those of you who pushed me and said, hey, what about that Land Rover? And just kept nagging at me. It's really good to have her back. And a lot of good memories in this old truck. One of my good friends and I used to kayak, and this is the truck she always wanted to take. So I have a roof rack, and the boats were always longer than the truck is because it's just an 88-inch wheelbase. But they made a 109 as well, but this one's the 88, the shorty. So the bed is actually wider than it is long. I guess I could show you back inside there. Not much to see. Been using it as a storage shed, so there's some engines back there. But it's in overall really good shape. The aluminum's in great condition there. You can kind of see how that velcros up. With that, everyone, we're gonna sign off, and thanks again, all of you who wondered about this old girl. Good to see her up and going. We'll see you on the next one, everybody. Thanks for watching. I thought I would add that in all of this, I didn't get stung a single time. Not once.